The Rise of Skywalker is set to introduce many new elements to the Star Wars franchise that fans had never seen before on the big screen in Star Wars film history by director J.J. Abrams. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. So what's really great about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film is going to be used in a way in order to show us new elements of the Force, the galaxy, Jedi and Sith lore, you name it, the list goes on and on by JJ. And that's the great thing about this movie, that I really feel it's going to make it stand out from both The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, and holds the potential to be the best film within the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Now, what's really great is that JJ is bringing a big return of space battles, land battles, and lightsaber duels in a fashion that we have never seen before on the big screen, bringing it to its maximum potential. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, shot descriptions consisting of both Kylo Ren and Rey fighting in a lightsaber duel on the battlefield of the First Order, where it's described that Rey is using a Force ability called Force Crush against a large antenna that causes it to collapse to the ground, destroying dozens of First Order tanks that were firing at the Resistance. It said that this is when the saber duel between both Kylo and Rey resumes, where Kylo is described to strike first against Rey's saber, where the environment around them begins to collapse and morph into a familiar location within the original trilogy. It's described that the location that Rey and Kylo are now fighting in is the entrance to Jabba's palace that fans saw in Episode 6 when Luke first arrives through the doorway. Their fight is said to eventually progress to the interior of Jabba's palace, where the iconic scene took place where the whole room is described to appear empty and/or abandoned. One of the sequences even involves a moment in which Kylo and Rey go through one of the walls of Jabba's palace, where it transforms to Echo Base on Hoth from Empire Strikes Back, where snowspeeders are seen docked in the background. How Kylo and Rey are able to go through walls where it changes the environment is an indicator that these are simulations as opposed to them actually being there in those locations. So let's go over a couple of parts about this, because I don't know about you guys, but this to me sounds something very similar to what we saw in the movie from 2010, Inception, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, right? If you guys go ahead and watch Inception, that's exactly what this reminds me of, where all these different environments are morphing into different environments, where the angles are different, and there's even some upside down sequences. We even got a little glimpse of this on the cover of the art book of The Rise of Skywalker. I don't know if you guys got a glimpse at that a couple of weeks ago. Actually, it was over a month ago at this point. We do see both Kylo Ren and Rey fighting, where Kylo Ren is actually upside down. So you can really see how JJ is trying to do something from Inception and applying that to the Star Wars universe. Is that a good or a bad thing? I'm not quite sure how I really feel about this just yet, where Rey and Kylo are able to go through the walls of Jabba's palace, where it eventually transitions and morphs into Echo Base on Hoth. Now, prior to all of this, Rey uses the ability called Force Crush, where she's able to take down one of the antennas of the First Order on the battlefield that crushes an army of First Order tanks. So we can see how she has progressed as a character when it comes to strength, and how she's able to utilize and use the Force in this movie in ways that fans would have never expected. But I think that the biggest thing of all that has a lot of mixed reactions right now is, of course, the flash fights. Now, the flash fights are said to be a type of lightsaber duel that combines force bonds, flashbacks, flash forwards, and just using a lightsaber duel in the middle of all of that. It's going to be very interesting to see exactly how this all plays out. But one thing I will tell you is that I really think that the flash fights are really going to benefit the audience members that go ahead and see this movie come December of this year. If they go ahead and see the film in 3D, I'm sure that they're really going to use like certain technology to make that pop out even more. So, flash fights, how do I feel about it? I think it's a great idea. I think it's something new to the table, but at the same exact time, I could really understand people's, I guess you could say, mixed reactions on this and how they feel. It may not be the best for the Star Wars franchise and seems a little too over the top. I totally get that. But I will say that at least we are getting at least one authentic lightsaber duel between both Rey and Kylo on the battlefield of the First Order in Episode 9. So that's one thing to look forward to, is that it's not just going to be flash fights. Yes, we are going to get real saber duels between both Rey and Kylo Ren, as if they are really there. So that's one thing to look forward to, because in The Force Awakens, I feel like that lightsaber duel, it could have been a little bit longer, there could have been more action to it, if I must add, and there could have been more dialogue being exchanged between both Rey and Kylo Ren in that particular sequence. So I would really love to hear what you all have to say about flash fights and how it's going to be utilized in the movie, and what you think about Jabba's palace and Echo Base being now a part of the flash fight battles in Episode 9 as a whole. So anyways guys, I would love to hear what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.